Welcome, everybody. Welcome back, Potter.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Anyway, we have Jason the Wrecking Ball Swinchock over here with Matthew, the mouth of Monongahela, Matthew Mounts. That's a mouthful. We are the gods of pods, aka the Wrestlemarks. Lightning strike on that bat.
Yeah.
We just bring it down again. Now, you want to bring lightning down? Go ahead, you try to bring lightning down.
Let's do it.
Go ahead. Wow, that was good. I wanted to say 5,000 views on the last episode. Thank you, everybody. 100 and some likes and counting. We have some exciting news coming to everybody. We will have an E-Nertia Patreon over the next few weeks being launched. We are coming up with the tiers now, and the tiers will be as simple as, hey, $1 a month, $12 a month, just support us. Thank you. My goodness. Don't break. Hey, all we're doing is passing our hat around and just, hey, toss the Witcher a coin. Toss your Witcher a coin is all we're saying. And then there's going to be some tiers, $3 tiers where you can actually pick on themes of new episodes. Like they'll be able to choose, like maybe we'll have to talk about a wrestler or something on another show that they can choose or pick topics. And then, some tiers will be executive producer tiers. They can guest star on shows and co-host and whatnot and so forth. So I'm excited to say that's going to be coming hopefully in this next month. Oh, also, I want to we have to give a shout out to at Dyson Estoy Loco. He is mi tío David. All right. Uncle Dave is a long-time fan, and I would say it has to be at least 5 years. And Dave, we are not live streaming this. This is all pre-recorded anymore and edited, so you didn't miss the live stream, buddy. But I'm glad to see you in those comments below, folks. And let me get this right. I've been trying all week and rehearsing. All right. The secret to YouTube is you tease everybody with what your episode's coming, and then you do this. Watch. Stay tuned right after this. Oh, no, I messed it up. Okay. No, that's not what you do. Okay. That's not what you do. But then you say, okay, make sure you unlike, you unsubscribe, unring the bell, and do not comment. And we can get, don't, because for 15 years, I've been telling people, please like, subscribe, and follow.
Yeah.
And that's not been working. Then I'm mean and I tell people don't listen and don't comment and don't like, and you see what happens.
Yeah. So don't do it. Don't do it.
You know what I mean?
Don't
comment.
Do it.
Don't comment on nothing down here. So anyway, shout out to Uncle Dave. Thank you, man. Yes, the Postal 2 game stream in 2016. The audience went nuts. Our stream numbers went so high that day that we couldn't read it. Like it was going so fast of people commenting. And Uncle Dave was one of those guys in that stream. So thanks, Uncle Dave, for still listening. We have so much news. Before we even get to the WWE news, I know you want to talk about general wrestling news, and we got to talk about it. I know it's old news at this point to everybody talking about it, but you just were talking about it earlier, but the big releases,
Yeah.
And since we've heard the news, I know Samoa Joe has been rehired back on NXT.
NXT, yeah, he is.
Then who were you saying's going to AEW?
From what I understand, there's a very, very good possibility that Aleister Black is going to go to AEW after his 90-day compete clause is over. And when he does, he will be called Tommy End, which I guess was his.
Well, he got released, right?
He did get released, yeah.
I don't think you have a 90-day.
No, they still do. They have a 90-day non-compete clause. Like they can't go anywhere for 90 days, whether you're released or not, because they have the option to bring you back within that 90 days. That's the reason why, like, whenever Brody Lee left, how he had to wait all that time, that's the reason why.
Those contracts are the worst piece of crap contracts ever, and they're only going to get worse.
Absolutely.
They're also getting sued.
I was going to touch on that during the WWE stuff, but yeah,
Yeah, they got that. They're getting sued.
A lot of their higher ups are going to get sued big time.
So I don't know, something with the Saudi Arabian tour. I didn't really even care to.
You want to know about it?
I don't. I just hope they hit him hard. I heard 300 mil.
300 million is what they're talking
Good.
about.
Then I remember he was saying he's a billionaire, and I go, "Ow, oh, you mean 700 million now, buddy?"
Yeah. Well, that's between him, Triple H, Stephanie McMahon, and there's a bunch of other like back end people who all did it. They basically just Enron themselves is what they did. They insider traded stocks, like $30 million worth of stocks, saying that this company was going to be like this production company in Saudi Arabia was going to pick them up for another time.
I remember when Triple H sold a bunch of his stock.
Yeah. So well, whenever he sold that stock, that was the stock he was selling. And like that's one of the reasons why they were saying that the profit margins last year were so high, because they sold all these stocks off. So it wasn't actually like they did any real numbers. They just sold so many stocks that it looked like their company was doing this like great thing, and it really wasn't.
Shame. Hey, eventually you can listen. You can cheat, and you may skate by and never get caught. But when you do, I hope Thunder's fury comes down. In that other general wrestling news, and I won't even count it as AEW news, and we both were very underwhelmed at Lio Rush's debut in AEW because he got hurt in that match, and now he's retired, so he's done.
I mean, okay.
So Lio Rush, that was it. You saw his his run in AEW. He's out.
I mean, I wasn't a big fan of his in WWE, so I can't really say that it's a loss to AEW. I mean, I wish him the best. I hope that whatever injury was, I hope he recovers from it. You know, he's good to go.
I liked his theme. I liked the What a Rush theme. That was awesome.
Well, yeah, that was cool. But I mean, you know,
I don't know how you say What a Rush without Vinnie Mac copyrighting the hell out of you. But I don't know.
I don't know.
But you had some dark side, dark tales of the dark sides this week, or what?
Yeah, Dark Side of the Ring. They covered. Well, what's nice is like these are separate from WWE.
Yeah.
So like you get the facts, not the fictionalized facts that they want you to know.
You don't get the rewrites, as we were talking
exactly.
Because I like when we were saying the rewrites.
I mean,
do you have any bios this week that you watched, or the bios done?
No, the bios are done.
They're done. We got through all. I have to still watch a lot, but
I mean, the Bret Hart one I skipped over because honestly, I just don't care to see any more about the Montreal.
Yeah, what more needs to be said, huh?
I mean, it's done.
Yeah.
The Mick Foley one honestly was so boring because it was literally the same exact thing that you hear on repeat from WWE, that he was like this diehard wrestling fan.
Yeah, he never did anything controversial, and he was a good dad and a good person.
Yeah, he was a great person.
Stunk. His biggest sin was he stunk, and no one liked his stinky butt. But other than that, it's kind of boring.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and I mean, all the other ones were. I mean, well, all of them in general were fairly decent. And if you were a WWE mark, so to speak, where you just believed whatever you were told, you probably went into those thinking, okay, this is exactly what the facts are. And, you know, I mean, I did learn some stuff.
Is that how you went into them?
That was not how I went into it. I mean, I learned some stuff that I didn't know, like especially about Stone Cold Steve Austin with having children. I didn't know anything.
Yeah. We did learn a lot about him. Yeah.
The Dark Side of the Ring, though, what I like about them is they get into literally exactly what it says, the dark side of wrestling. Like, this is like, you're not going to go in there and see like these happy day events like Mick Foley is this great, whatever. It's not going to happen on there. Like, they went over Dynamite Kid in this last one. This guy was very troubled, man. Like, I mean, he was a trailblazer for a lot of wrestlers, and he was the inspiration to a lot of big talent. Like, you know, like, I know the unspoken word of Chris Benoit, we're not allowed to say that. Anyway, he was like the inspiration for him.
You mean murderer Chris Benoit?
Yeah. It's weird to me, though, that Benoit was such a fan of this guy, because his career sort of mirrored the image of Dynamite Kid, even up to the point of what he did the murders that he committed to a point. I mean, obviously Dynamite Kid didn't kill anyone, but like there was a lot of drug abuse going on. Like he had a back injury, like a severe back injury, so he started self-medicating on drugs and alcohol.
Like what kind of
through that?
Pills? They're all on pills.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And but he, like I mean, him and British Bulldog were tag team together. He was.
I mean, pills aren't even fun.
No, they're not.
Like pills can dull the pain, but like if you're on a road, get some cocaine.
Something.
You know what I mean? I don't want to like. Don't call a drug problem. Oh, I'm an alcoholic and I had some fucking painkillers. Like, I mean, Jesus. There's heroin addicts and coke addicts out there going. Don't call marijuana. Like some of these guys. Oh, I have some problems. You know.
Yeah, but this dude was like on OxyContin. He was on he was on some like severe shit like metformin. Oh, I'm not metformin. Like on like.
I had to be on horse tranquilizers in the 80s. They didn't have any of these designer pharmaceuticals, so his ass was probably on some hardcore tranquilizers. He was
on morphine and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know? And I mean, like, and the dude, he never held his daughter. He had like his firstborn child, like he had a daughter. He never held her, and this kind of goes into like the softer side of him to a point. He never held her until she was old enough to walk, because he was afraid that he would hurt her, because she was like she was delicate to him, like because of how he is or whatever. I don't know. It's weird, man.
Yeah, I go, listen, when I start watching stuff like that, it gives me anxiety because I go, look, I got my own effing problems, right?
Well,
I got my own problems in life.
Yeah.
You know? Then I'm watching a show going, boy, this guy's messed up because he can't even touch his kid. And I go, oh, boy.
Well, I mean, he would and then on top of that, he would do drugs, obviously. And then his wife would be in the car with him. He would start swerving into traffic and shit with her, in the car to scare her. And then he would force her to sleep in a closet.
You got a case of the asshole, though, when you do that, too.
Absolutely.
You got drugs and alcohol and you're an asshole. And those three things are
And the wife, actually says that she preferred sleeping in the closet most of the time opposed to sleeping with him, because it was less scary to sleep in the closet by herself with the door shut than it was to sleep in bed with him, and a possibility he was going to either hurt her or hurt himself or OD on something. It's crazy, man. And she stayed with him for a long time. They ended up having even whenever he was out, done with wrestling, because obviously the drug abuse was too severe, he ended up in a wheelchair at one point, towards the end of his life or whatever.
Oh, I always thought he died out young.
No. Well, I mean,
he just disappeared. When you're little, you don't have the dirt sheets, and then I know that when I was there was the British Bulldogs.
Well, dude, this is how sad this guy
was. And then all of a sudden, Dynamite Kid, just when I was little, just vanished. And I just assumed he went back to England, because I didn't know British Bulldogs.
Well, he did. He did go back to England.
Is that where they were from, England? I mean, I know Davey Boy.
Yeah. He was. But so I'm almost to that point now. So he used to have wrestling parties where the wrestlers would call it sad parties. They literally dubbed it sad parties, because he would be sitting there drinking and taking pills, watching his old matches from his heyday, and make them sit there and watch them with him and relive his heyday of being this great wrestler and whatever. And
what does he call these?
No, he doesn't call them that. The wrestlers who would go there would call them sad parties.
All right. Make a note. Discuss having sad parties at my house. Watching all my old films with all my friends. Save notes, Siri. Boom. Yeah, sad. That sounds awesome. Yeah, he's watching his matches. He's crying, and he's all drugged up and crying.
Well, he's not crying. He's just reliving his.
And you're there, yes. Listen, alcoholism isn't something to F with. I lost a really, 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 really good friend to alcoholism, and that's how it was, though. And listen, there's nothing when that boat starts going and that person wants to go and crash it.
Yeah,
I don't care what kind of positivity you're bringing. It sucks. I don't even know if I want to watch this because I got enough bad news around.
Well, so
Dynamite kid, boy.
Basically, whenever his wife's pregnant with his youngest child, he takes a shotgun while she's pregnant, threatens to shoot her. She then I think she finally gets to a point where she just had enough. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it's like okay, I've stayed with you for all this shit and like whatever. Well, so he left the family, went back to England. This is the part where we go back to England. Now you have this guy who was like literally one of the biggest stars in wrestling at the time, right?
Yeah.
He goes back to England. He starts doing like bare knuckle boxing matches for money to get drugs. So like he loses all of the appeal that he had because he goes and does this like underground like crap fighting, you know what I mean, to get money to just get drugs. And then but the weird thing about it is his wife never tells any of his family or the children any of the abuse that she goes through until the Chris Benoit murders happen, which he was already gone at that time.
Yeah.
Because Chris Benoit had idolized him so much that she said, listen, like this is what your father was really like. And this is the people that he was around who he influenced. This is something that they did and this is my story of what happened with him being here. And it took the Benoit tragedy to happen for her to finally be able to tell her children, her adult children, that, this is what life was really like with your father and why we weren't together and why I left and took you kids out of this situation. Because it was this bad. Like it's just crazy to me that that takes a strong woman to hold that in for that amount of time and sit there and not let anybody else in on what's going on here. Yeah. And to walk away and just say, my kudos is to his wife for putting up with what she put up with and being able to move on from it.
Listen, the best thing this piece of art can do, this show, is help women that watch it that are in these situations now
get out of it. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, let's not, who cares about one lady going through some abuse 25 years ago? Not that sounds mean, but hopefully some good can come out of it, and a lady sees this now and goes,
well, see, that's
I got to get out of here.
In our next episode, I'm going to talk about it's Grizzly Smith, which most people probably don't know who that is.
No, but we will have a special Grizzly Smith special.
Yes, we are, and it's going to get it's interesting.
I don't remember how much were they saying how big the British Bulldogs were. Were they rewriting there and saying they were so big and so over? And
no, they were just saying that they were a tag team, and whenever they were tag team champions,
where else did they wrestle?
What's that?
Where else did they wrestle?
I don't know.
Just WWF?
WWF. I don't think WCW because I don't remember that.
I think Davey Boy went there by himself.
Yeah. I mean probably in the independents over in England and wherever. I'm sure.
Yeah, I wondered if they wrestled for Paige's dad. Is what I was.
Oh, they may have. I don't know.
I don't know if that was a little. If the time frames match up there, because how many places can there be? I don't know. Really, England is it even a real place? I don't know. What is England? I don't know. Yeah. So next week, let's figure out what England is too.
Yes,
we're going to talk about your guy
and
what's his name and England. What is Great England, Great Britain? What is that specifically? Put that in the notes. All right. Hell in a Cell. Did you bring up Hell in a Cell?
Bro, I have the card written in front of me. I actually typed out the card in front of me. There is 5 matches on this card.
I'm going to fall asleep.
5 matches.
All right.
Okay. 5 matches. You tell me who you think are going to win these matches, just out of curiosity. Instead of doing the trivia thing that we do at the end of our show, I want to do this because I'm just curious to see who you picked the right winners. And you don't even watch WWE anymore for the most part, right?
I mean, yeah.
Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair.
Charlotte Flair.
Okay. Bianca Belair versus Bayley.
Boy, I would say Bayley. I don't know.
No, it's
Bianca Belair.
It's definitely going to be Bianca Belair. Actually, the Rhea Ripley one's more than likely going to be her too. But I don't know. Charlotte may do it because they build her every 5 minutes. So Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre in Hell in a Cell. So here's a question for you. Do you think it's going to be a clean win, or do you think there's going to be interference and they throw the Hell in a Cell match out, even though it's quote unquote a no disqualification match? I guarantee you they throw that match out.
I wouldn't be surprised if Drew McIntyre and who?
Bobby Lashley.
I would not be surprised if they just hugged in the middle of the ring, said they're going to share the title from now on, and then both of them dismantle the Hell in a Cell together, and then the show ends. I would not be more surprised. I really don't. Nor could I care.
No, I know.
If Sergeant Slaughter came down to the ring, beat them both up, and left us with the championship belt, I would be less surprised than anything else. And I would go, I know this much. Come that Monday after the WWE pay-per-view, everyone will be going like this. Okay. All right.
Well, so my pick for that match is Jinder Mahal interferes in that match and they throw it out so that he can start a feud between him and Drew McIntyre, which is something that they planned.
Well, how do you throw out a Hell in a Cell when there's no DQs?
How do they throw out a Hell in a Cell against The Fiend and Seth Rollins?
Exactly. We don't have rules. It's been a problem for 20 years there.
It's Roman Reigns versus Rey Mysterio in Hell in a Cell.
Uso gets involved, the one that's getting picked on, or the other one that's sticking up for him. The Usos are going to turn on him.
I don't think Rey Mysterio is going to win that match.
What?
Rey Mysterio is not going to win that match.
No, he's not going to win that match.
Alexa Bliss versus Shayna Baszler.
I don't know what they're doing with Shayna Baszler.
Nothing.
But like, it's terrible.
Yep.
And I don't really know what they're doing with Alexa Bliss. So I don't know. Alexa Bliss, maybe? I don't know. Because like Shayna's kind of afraid of her, kind of no. I don't know. I go like this.
Yeah.
What?
So my picks are Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Jinder Mahal interferes, obviously, Roman Reigns, and then Alexa Bliss wins the Shayna Baszler match because they're going to continue to bury Shayna Baszler because why not?
My picks are Road Dogg, Jesse James for each one. We'll see.
All right.
I may get a point out of this. I'm making a point out of that. Oh, I didn't even a Hell in a Cell. So that's only 5 matches, huh?
5 matches, yeah.
There are going to be some long ones. They plan on filling a full card, huh?
Well, that Bobby Lashley Drew McIntyre one's going to last at least 45 minutes, I guarantee it, which is ridiculous in its own right.
You know what? A whole pay-per-view of cage matches are it's just too much.
Well, there's only going to be 2.
Huh?
There's only going to be 2.
Oh,
that's it.
It's not a whole pay-per-view of them?
No, there's just 2. But they're probably going to open the pay-per-view with 1, I'm sure. And then they'll close the pay-per-view with 1.
I want to know below. Comment below if you watch WWE and you're actually going to watch this pay-per-view. And then, you know what I mean? I want to see who is watching this pay-per-view and also listening to this.
I mean, I'm going to watch it because it's kind of my job to watch it. But, you know. Yeah.
Yuck.
You feel bad for me, right?
Uh-uh.
Yeah, you
should.
Because
you secretly like that crap and you can't wait till oh, hey, Bray Wyatt might come out.
No, that's not going to happen until SummerSlam.
Oh, so you're not going to predict that Matt Riddle's the next AEW guy too? Are you going to predict that too, like all the other marks out there?
No, he's not going to AEW.
What I want to talk about after we talk about that depressing place up north is NWA's back, and we said they were back last week, and I have a lot of notes and a lot of ideas and a lot of thoughts about NWA, one of the oldest, I don't know, promotions since 71, 73, I think. And Billy Corgan, who was at one point, somehow tied into TNA for some ownership or whatever, didn't want to do business with Panda Energy or something, fell through with the new owners. Then he went and just bought NWA. And there's a lot of things. NWA, I love the fact that they embrace this classic look. Their classic curtains hung in the background like a mid-century TV show, or the 60s and 70s game shows where there's just some curtains in the background. That aesthetic is cool. The graphics package for some of their pay-per-views, this When Our Shadows Fall pay-per-view, the old circus vaudeville feeling to the graphics packages are even cool. But what is not cool about everything is the fact that the production quality is so damn low to be a worldwide presence. And when you look at AEW, look at TNA, NWA is on par with like IWC, locally produced. And I wish Billy Corgan would just pick up the phone and call Josh, our producer, and just say, hey, let's do some business with E-Nertia because we could make NWA look like $1 million. Yeah. And that's not being cocky. I think anybody that sees this product will immediately go, it feels lesser than old WCW Saturday Night at times.
Yeah, it does.
But I do like that classic feel. And then their biggest announcement as of recently is Corgan announces, and Mickie James is there with him, and they're going to put on an all-female pay-per-view, and Mickie is going to produce the pay-per-view. And it's going to be in the Chase Ballroom, and I think it's called NWA 70 or NWA Empower is going to be this women's pay-per-view. And Mickie said that, and this video's out there on their YouTube channel if you watch it. And then, boy, I just watch it and it feels weird. Mickie seems excited, but she also seems sad to be there. I don't know. It's weird. It is going to be an open pay-per-view, and she is saying, I don't care what company you're in, or if you have a contract anywhere, you're welcome to wrestle, so get a hold of her. So that's great. And they'll have some people from all over the place because they're not afraid to mix it up with other promotions. But Billy Corgan, when you look at this guy, there's a genius there. I mean, Smashing Pumpkins, the guy's an artist. Let's needless to say, but he's so like, this is Billy trying to get excited over this pay-per-view. And he's like, yeah, TNA, and we have a lot of exciting things. And here's Mickie, and she's going to talk about a pay-per-view that's coming up, and it's going to be really exciting. And he just doesn't feel like he believes he's excited. He's still in like this alt-rock 90s sad phase. And I just want to smack him and say, you run a wrestling program. Now you got to get excited. You know what I mean? That's how this thing should have been. Mickie should have been over the top, crazy excited. Women wrestling. And she said some important things. She said, look, I could have went anywhere and had great matches because women's wrestling it's right now is as better as it's ever been.
But it really is.
Yeah, and that's a true statement.
It really is, yeah.
But this opportunity, why I'm here, in story reasons and for real reasons, her saying why I'm here is because Billy is going to let me produce this pay-per-view. It's good storytelling, whether it's favored or not. I just think there's a lot of good treasure there. in NWA. They need to, they hit the ground running and spend, I don't know what the money, but old Billy's going to have to get into that Smashing Pumpkins money and maybe throw a couple mil into production and escalate. Don't be afraid of a pyro, Billy. You know what I mean? Don't get afraid of an entrance, or anything. Listen, you can have that class. Look, don't be afraid of an HD camera. That's all I'm saying. And I'm not talking 1080i, Billy. I'm talking about full, let's go 4K, ultra high D. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Matt,
Yeah.
Are you lost?
I'm with you.
What do you think about it? Have you have any tastes of NWA yet?
I watched NWA Power probably 2 years ago. Okay. And the quality then really wasn't that great. And I understood that like they wanted this more classic feel, like whenever they used to like pre-record shows and like in a studio and like do all that kind of thing. Like, and I got that. And it's nice, like that nostalgia feeling, like is nice. But like if you want to stay competitive with what's going on right now, they gotta pick up the pace with this, and they need to bring up the production value, because you're right. Like whenever you're watching it, it's like, I get it, it's a YouTube channel, but I mean, look at our videos on YouTube compared to theirs. The quality in ours,
and I don't want to sound or brag, but I've shot commercials and I've shot films that look better than this. And I understand going for that classic look. I really do, but I think that we can
can do it and still present it in a new age way.
With better equipment. There needs to be a set director, because they're also now their announced team. I know Velvet Sky was on their announced team with two other guys, and that was pretty good. But like the backstage, Gia, they need to do the stop the full body shots, because people fidget their legs too much. Then your eyes are looking down there. They need to do bust up. I know the girls want to, if the girl has a fancy dress, you can start on a wide and come in, but the static just shots of them talking for 60 minutes, three people, and you don't even zoom in on a face. I go, it's the laziest production.
Yeah.
And
it's like, I know that they had Jim Cornette on there for a while, and like I know Jim Cornette said something he shouldn't have said, whatever. Okay, but I felt like when he was there, because he has ran a wrestling business before, and he's been involved in wrestling for like his entire life, basically. Like whether you agree with him or not, like he knew what they needed to do to kind of make things better. And I think they need somebody who has been in the business to come in and say, hey, Corgan, this is what we need to do to make things better.
Corgan knew much about wrestling as Tony Khan did.
Well, yeah.
Plus, Corgan has money. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I don't have Smashing Pumpkins money. My wrestling show would look better than NWA. So I'm not saying dig into his checkbook and hire a TV production company.
Well, do you think it's that, or do you think it's that he just doesn't want to spend the money because he's afraid of spending money like he did in TNA, and then him going belly up and losing it? Because from what I understood, he put a lot of money into TNA at the time he was there, and it just didn't go real well. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know what transpired with him and Impact, or how if he left any money on the table when he left there. But I know that if you were going to compete, in today's wrestling world, he had a year to think about this too. He could have packed up shop, sold everything to Impact, and he could have thought about this. But really, what costs do you have besides paying the wrestlers? So as long as they're pulling in something,
not only that, they're not touring either. I don't think they're not touring either. They have a location where they do this at.
Once everything starts to get up and go, I think that they can make some traction, but I also see that there's no head of that vision. There's no director vision. Like they put this cool little rock and roll video together for the pay-per-view, and it was like edited like you're like a high school, like it was a cool rock song, cool wrestlers, but then they put this crappy filter over it, and it's like crappy filters are used to hide crappy footage, and you can see it's just crappy filter on a crappy footage. And I just go clean. Don't be afraid to show some 4K match footage or anything. And they're just not doing that.
The crazy part about it is too is like they have very talented wrestlers there. Like you said, like Nick Aldis, like what's the girl that we both like a lot? I can't even think of her name right now.
Thunder Rosa's there.
Thunder Rosa's there.
You have Beebs there.
You have good talent there, high quality talent there.
Do.
And you like, for me, I'm one of those people where if I tune into something and I can't make out what's going on, or if the quality looks like crap, I'm not going to sit there and watch it. I'm not going to waste my time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you don't want to put in the production value, I'm not going to sit there and put in the time to watch it.
Yeah.
And like, so like, that's the reason that I don't know, like I kind of fell out of the NWA Power thing because like, I was just like, this isn't, like, I mean, it's cool. Like, it's cool to be nostalgic and like go back and watch a match or something here and there. But to want to watch it like episodically every week, I just don't see the appeal.
Yeah, I don't like it's all pay-per-view and like you have to subscribe to see any of it. And I don't think that's ever a good thing.
See, you didn't have to do that before. It used to just be on YouTube.
And to pay gate your whole product, I don't know if that's wise. That's how TNA started. It was just all pay-per-views back in the day, 2001, 2002, somewhere like that. I don't know. I mean, them considering they're big players in the mix, they're sharing the right wrestlers. That time's going to see how well they survive in this territory era. But the spotlight's shining on the territories right now, and I'm saying if you're showing your best. Right now is the time to show your best to everybody.
Yeah.
And I go, boy, I just wish I could have edited their last pay-per-view or their last couple things. And I said, we could have made it way better for them. But
I think that the pay-per-view idea, I like the pay-per-view idea a lot. Like the empowerment and that kind of thing here. And I think they should bring in that like LGBTQ community with that too. And encompass all of that as like empowerment, not just like women's empowerment. You know what I mean? Like I think that would be really cool to like have something like that go on where it's like, look, like, these are wrestlers who can really perform, and this is what it is. And maybe they get overshadowed in the main card scene, but these are guys and girls and whatever they identify as is like really that can go. You know what I mean?
Hey, I think I hope it works out well for Mickey, considering this her last release and the whole garbage bag incident from the pig people that run WWE. So I hope Mickey, I wish her well. I really want to see Billy Corgan succeed. I want all wrestling companies to succeed and be good. The more the merrier. But moving on to Impact Wrestling, and I've been really delving in after AEW Double or Nothing. I said I'm gonna double down on some Impact now and give the stories give my little mind a little break from AEW and really go and try to sample some other things on the buffet of wrestling. And boy, I tune in as a guy that really watched TNA probably 2007 to 2011 really hard. I was really into TNA, and it's so refreshing to tune in now and see guys like Daivari just debuted tonight, actually. This guy's been gone for 10 years, and he comes back. His physique looks amazing. I watched P.D. Williams in a tag match, and P.D. Williams can wrestle like it's 2007 and it's 2021. And this guy still moves like he's a rookie. And He also I found this funny. I was watching this. He also turned into Tim Roth, and I don't know if you know who Tim Roth is. I'm putting a picture of him right now, so you'll see this on the final show. But put up a picture comparing what Petey Williams looks like right now and what Tim Roth looks like right now. Tell me, everyone, if I'm not be exact on that. They might be the same person. I don't know. All right. Tim Roth played like the guy, Honey Bunny, in Pulp Fiction. You know, he was like, "Hey, are you ready, Honey Bunny?" I tell you what, he looks like him and Petey Williams are the same person.
Okay.
Pete, they did. Now his tag partner helped him out, but Petey did. He I don't know if he invented the maneuver or not, the Canadian Destroyer, but I've never seen it in my life until 2007 when I saw him do it when he was little Petey Pump. He was like, and Big Papa Pump was managing him. He did a Canadian Destroyer off the top rope on this dude, and they called it the Super Ultimate Canadian Destroyer from the top rope. And it is, folks, go watch it on YouTube. It is one of the sickest moves. And if you're like me and you like to be the fan that goes like, I still love to see the magic of some of these moves and go, how did you not get killed? Like when Kenny does his Snapdragon suplex. How did you not break someone? How do you not break their neck? Like the trust you have for these professionals in this ring. Petey, it's great to see you. And then right after that match, they do a flashback match to Taylor Wilde's winning the title off of Awesome Kong around 2008. And it was and now that Taylor Wilde's back in a great women's match, Awesome Kong was like a monster back in the day. None of the little women could beat her. And I remember Taylor Wilde, and she was so over. The crowds were so into TNA back then. And she was really over. So I thought that was a cool flashback match. And then their Slammiversary this year, that looks like they're co-promoting it with New Japan Pro Wrestling. The New Japan Tiger logos on it. So I know within the last couple of weeks we saw like a Bullet Club guy, El Phantasmo came over. Finn Juice has already been here. They're New Japan. They're the tag champs that beat the Good Brothers. So there's a lot. And hey, just keep mixing it up.
That's cool. That's cool.
You know? And that's why, like, when Tony Khan said, "Oh, great, WWE's talking to New Japan," that's not news. We've been doing that. We're all doing that. TNA's doing that. Like, that's been going on. Hell, no one's even talking about Ring of Honor. That's started that. What else you got? You got anything for TNA? I know you had it on your goals list
I know that I watched
to dig in to some TNA.
I watched the Kenny Omega Moose match. And I'm going to tell you what, man.
Well, the Young Bucks made their return to Impact Zone. It's Generation Me. Generation Me's back, folks. Yay, yeah.
You know my feelings on Kenny Omega, and like to be honest with you, like I actually like Kenny Omega. I just give you a lot of shit about it. Like
you can't not like Kenny Omega.
I do. I do like.
There was brilliant storytelling in that match. You want to protect Moose?
There was.
Don't let Kenny pick him up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
And of course, listen, you got to have the little bit of controversy.
Yeah, absolutely.
That you can say Tony wanted his own arena to maybe protect Kenny, but then you throw the Sami Callihan. He's not allowed here at the end.
Wait.
Oh,
dude, I'm going to tell you something. I cannot wait to see Sami Callihan and Kenny Omega. That's going to be a good match.
I hope Callihan doesn't wear all that leather and zippers, because that could really give Kenny a brush burn. I don't like all that.
Yeah.
And leave the ball bat way outside the ring, Callihan, because you're about to step up. He's about to step way up. Moose isn't done. Listen.
No.
You want a face monster. They need to loosen Moose up with other faces. Like, he's too tough. At times, you will kick everybody in. Okay, Moose, calm down, buddy. I don't want to like Luchasaur Moose. That's dumb. But I want to
we'll put him in there with Mox and Eddie Kingston.
Yeah, well, like
You know
we gotta like Eddie, we gotta Eddie Kingston him a little bit. We gotta make Moose likable.
Exactly.
All right, but boy, there was some manhandling. But the storytelling of Kenny just not being able to do anything, Moose getting a little cocky, starting to match Kenny with the high flying stuff, and we're all going, Moose, that you don't do that. And then you could see he hurt himself. Yeah. And I was like, there's the story. That's how Kenny's going to pick him up. But then, okay, the Bucks had to come out. But when Kenny was just beat the ear, V-triggering that leg, I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You know, my.
But like Kenny, what I will say is this. The thing that I love about Kenny Omega and AEW in general, you remember there was a time many, many years ago, like 20 years ago, whenever you had a finishing move, and guess what? It was protected. Once you hit your finisher, guess what? The match was over because you hit your finisher. I miss that, and they bring that back every time Kenny Omega wrestles. Once his finisher is hit, that match is over. It's done. And like,
yeah, or variations. Like I like when sometimes if Mox hits you with what's Mox's move?
The paradigm shift.
But sometimes the paradigm shift doesn't work, and then he has to give you that super one where he suplexes you down.
Absolutely.
He also has the exoplex, which he rarely uses in the US. And yes, protect the finishers.
The
ridiculous McMahonigan world of all 3 rock bottoms and 15 stunners. It's just stupid.
I'm getting excited now.
37 false finishes. You don't need it.
Back in the day, whenever you were watching, and this is a reason why, like I have not cared about watching Raw, SmackDown, whatever, right? Because I've been watching WCW for literally the last month. That's all I wanted to watch is nothing but WCW. And the one thing that stuck out to me was the way they told the story. Was they narrated it from the announce team, which I think is perfect. You had the wrestlers come in when they needed to come in and talk. They weren't the whole show talking. Yeah. You know what I mean? You let them tell the story in the ring. The announcers tell the story outside of the ring. And then also whenever somebody said, hey, listen, Hogan's going to drop a leg drop, the match is over. That's it. It's done. Whenever Kevin Nash is going to give you the jackknife powerbomb, the match is over. It's done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There might be a one-off where somebody gets, where somebody gets a Frankensteiner and they get up. Okay. Whatever. Okay. But it's a one-off. Now, every time you watch a pay-per-view with WWE, or you want, I guarantee you that Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley match, that entire match is going to be nothing but them trying to hit their finishers. And once they hit their finishers, they'll kick out. The other guy will hit it. They'll kick out. The other guy.
It's not a finisher anymore.
It's not a finisher.
Just a move.
It's just a move that you do, and it's like, dude, why do I want to watch Roman Reigns Superman punch somebody 16 times?
Well, the problem is when WWE does, there's many tricks to up the storytelling sleeve. Yeah, many tricks.
Absolutely.
And just like the surprise roll-up. But WWE takes something that people go, oh, that tasted very good. And then they ruin it, and then it becomes commonplace.
Yeah.
It's how they lost roles and importance of there's a sporting event going on here.
Yeah.
That's how there's no time limit. How do you have a sporting a match without a time limit? That's stupid.
Yeah.
It tells us it's just going to end whenever the commercial says it ends, and that's dumb. But yeah, that crap started when the Stone Cold Rock matches, and all you marks out there going nuts at your WrestleMania 19, greatest WrestleMania, 37 Stone Cold Stunners and Rock Bottoms, and I go, that's stupid.
No,
It
I
took
agree.
It took one tombstone pile driver back in my day. It took one perfect plex. It took one leg drop. It took Flair. Now Flair putting you in the figure four as a heel, you'd always get out of it. All right.
Well, yeah.
But Flair putting you in the figure four when he was a face, it was a death sentence.
Exactly.
It was Piper's sleeper when he was a good guy. It was a death sentence.
It's just like watching you know my opinion on Lex Luger. But like my thing is like Lex Luger, when he put you in the torture rack,
you're done. Yeah, we would go. That doesn't even hurt, but it would melt you. Yes.
When Sting give you a Scorpion Death Drop and put you in a Scorpion leg lock, the match was over. It's done.
Yes.
There may be a one-off where somebody kicks out or gets out of the submission or whatever, and that's all well and good. But once he hits it for that second time, it's done.
Well, that's just not an AEW thing, my friend. That's an independent
that's
thing.
A wrestling.
That's just a pro wrestling thing, and any show ever out there does that except WWE, but they're sports entertainment, so I don't know if we can fault them. But you're not seeing that in New Japan. Finishers are protected. You're not seeing that on IWC, that level, because the talent has the commonplace and the respect to go, hey, anybody have like this spot tonight? Well, that's okay. You're working the leg. Okay, I'm not going to do that.
Well, my thing is
we have to talk.
Well, my thing is if you, I mean, I'm sure that whenever like wrestlers sit down and they say, like, I mean, let's face it, they sit down, they put the match together the way that they want to do it. This is what the finish is going to be, right? They say, okay, and me and you were having a wrestling match, and we know it's scripted, and I say, okay, this is the spot we're going to have. You're going to hit me with a Canadian Destroyer because that's your finishing move, right? And whenever you do, I'm done. I'm not getting back up. You're going to get the 1, 2, 3. I'm not going to then go, oh, hey, by the way, 5 minutes where you walk out. Hey, you're going to hit me with that Canadian Destroyer. I'm going to kick out on 2, okay? And then I'm going to hit you with 3 rock bottoms. You're going to hit me with another Canadian Destroyer. I'm going to kick out again.
Much. Well, any like in art, in any art form and entertainment, there's always jumping the shark and going way too far and too much.
There is, but whenever you do it for 20 plus years and you program people to think that this is what it's supposed to be, and then they go watch the alternate and they see how it's done, or they go back and watch footage that you put on a network yourself and see how it was done and how choreographed and how perfect that it was done. Like I said before, the reason I like the Will Ospreay matches is because they're a performance. You can tell, and you can put ballerina music to it. It's a performance. Yeah. And so with those WCW wrestling matches or any even WWF old wrestling matches, like those wrestling matches just were performances, and they had a logical ending. This is where the ending is. It's just like any other story. You have a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Yeah.
But if the end continuously keeps replaying itself, it'd be like listening to a Led Zeppelin song, and every time that it got to the end of it, it just restarted itself again. You're going to be there for 45 years just listening to the same damn Led Zeppelin song. You know what I mean?
Then you tune in on Monday and hear the same song again, and then tune in next Monday and hear the same song again. Hey, I don't know. Listen, I'm not the one watching it. It's crazy people like you that are watching that show every week. And don't blame this show. You watch it you watch it without it because you're a mark.
No, listen, man.
You're a diehard Vinny Mark.
I have gotten to the point now where I turn on Raw and I will see what the card is I'll go on my phone, see what the card is for Raw. If it's the same card as last week, I don't even put it on because I know who's going to win. It's 50-50 booking. If Rey Mysterio won last week and this guy lost last week, the next week, and they're going to have a wrestling match, the other dude's going to win the match.
Yeah, well, it's safe to say that it's not for you. You're a pro wrestling fan. Maybe you're just budding as a pro wrestling fan, and that product's no longer for you. It's for general audiences from 13 to 65. And your entertainment probably doesn't fit there. And it's not like, I think if you're watching it and trying to make that much sense out of it, I don't think that it's there for you. But there's alternatives that do have that. So what's your thoughts? And this is a question from a comment on our last episode. Good Time Adam says, he wants to hear our thoughts on the AEW Women's Champion, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. So what do you think about old Britt Baker, the doc?
I support the fact that she's from Pittsburgh, and I think she's going to. I think she will become a better talent the longer that she's in wrestling. I think her and the Thunder Rosa match that she had was absolutely phenomenal. I wish that it would have counted for both of them instead of just being a dark match. I think that she will develop into a very good champion once she has more experience in that role. Do I want to see her hold on to it for a year? No. I think 6 months is plenty long enough for her to hold on to it. I think that she still has a lot of I don't want to say training, but I think she has a lot more to go as far as like in-ring ability. And I think people like Thunder Rosa, like wrestling them, training with them, I think that's going to help her a lot. I don't know. I mean, I don't hate her. I don't think she's a bad wrestler. I just think that she has a lot more to go in that role. And I think that maybe her being a champion is a little premature, but we'll find out.
Yes, I'm with you on the we'll find out. A year ago, I thought she was terrible. I thought she was terrible in IWC. She has extremely improved over the last year.
Yeah.
Is she as ballerina-esque as Thunder Rosa or even Ty Conti or some of these other ladies? No. Does now she have the personality that's budding and growing bigger than some of those other women wrestlers? And yes, she is developing what other few women wrestlers can. Women wrestlers have to wrestle. None of them have ever had the privilege to be like Hogan, where they didn't, hey, they don't have to wrestle. They're just that personality. Britt's starting to develop that personality. And let's let it bring more of that into the ring. You can show fewer moves because we know you know how to wrestle. You can show fewer moves and focus more on cheating and your character work in the ring. That would be my advice to her. I like the talk show, but it's on dark, and they don't do it. Like, they need to bring her talk show. They need to give her more exposure in the women's division, more exposure on Dynamite. I could go without any Luchasaurus Marco stunt action on Dynamite forever, and bring one or two more women up and have a real serious. But let's get the women in some stories that matter, for Christ's sakes.
Well, that's like her and Nyla Rose with this whole hamburger incident thing. Like, I don't know.
Nyla Rose sucks. I just hate to say, if that makes me a bad guy or whatever, it sucks. Okay, you just suck in the ring. Your character sucks.
She's another one, though, that
I move like a big dummy.
I think that she's another one, though, if she had somebody her size to train her if she had more in-ring training off of Dynamite, like not trying to train on site on the job.
You have a roster of the best wrestlers in the world. You can grab any of the guys back there. She doesn't have to have a woman. Yeah, she can grab a big guy. Go grab one of Taz's guys and throw him around. They'll jump in the ring with you.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think that they need to do, like, the biggest thing with them, and this is the only kind of, like, I would say negative that I have for AEW. The talent that you have that has that have built characters, like the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, Pac, even like Eddie Kingston really didn't have like a character that you could grip a hold of until now. Mox had a character, but people knew who he was when he came in. So but with like these women who they don't really know who they are, and that's what Britt Baker's doing well, is that she's building that character.
Yes. So
you understand who she is and where she's coming from.
Yeah, that's it. Really, like Rio and like Hikaru Shida, great wrestlers, great champions. I don't know anything about you. Hikaru Shida, you take nice photos on Instagram. That's the only thing I know about you in a year, and you're a good wrestler.
For me, like, I understand that they want to stray away from the storytelling outside of the ring, and they wanted to be in the ring as a pro wrestler, and this is what you want to do.
Great, but you got to do it. You got to do it. Either
you still have to, even if it's a 3-minute vignette of like this is who it is and what they're doing. Okay, at least I understand where they're coming from. You know what I mean?
Well, they used to do it on Dynamite, and they do it on Dark a lot, where like when you're walking down the ring, they'll actually have the little pop-up, and it'll be like an interview of like, hey, you know, I'm gonna kick your butt, blah, 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 when you're coming down. But they don't do it on that much anymore, and I don't know why. But anyway, to get off of, you know, there's our thoughts on Dr. Britt. Where, you know, hey, she could be one of the great time. You know, she's not a Will Ospreay to me. You know, I think he's way above her. But I put him in the same. I put her in the same category. We'll see. Your career's young. Don't get me started on her boyfriend because he's a piece of crap. Adam Cole, bay. Literally, and I'll tell you why. And a lot of people think this is unpopular opinion. I'm going to tell you why. Because literally 3 months after he was on Mark Madden promoting the local show when he was in Bullet Club and saying, "Oh, I don't need to go to WWE, man. I live out here with, you know, in the Mormon country. It don't take me a lot of money to live out here. I do well on the indies." Literally one contract later, you're running up to be with your best friend in the world, Shawn Michaels, Googly Eye, and Triple H. And anybody that just thinks you need to just paint your career up there, I feel sad, and I don't think it's artistry. It's the big fat check. And I don't blame anybody for taking the check. But I just go, boy, I don't like hypocrites. And that's just, I guess, the part of it. So that's my take. And I just give her 1 minus point for, you know, Adam Cole.
I understand that I understand not liking hypocrites because I get that. But if somebody came to you and said, hey, here is a truckload of money I'm going to pull up to your door and I'm going to drop it right at your front door. All you got to do is go to NXT and do the same thing you've been doing in the indies and wrestle here.
Listen, I wouldn't lie to customers when I made $8 at GameStop. When GameStop told me to tell customers it's a good game.
I don't either.
Listen, at in 2003 when I worked there, $8 an hour was a lot of money to me, and it's all I can make. And I said no to that because of principles. Yeah. Listen. You can't chase money or it'll run away from you. You understand? And I'm a human. Look behind me. I like things. I like nice stuff. So I get the big paycheck, but watch. Don't ever let your mouth cash a check.
Exactly.
That you can, and that's the bottom line. Yeah. Don't you know what I mean? Don't say you hate blue, the color blue, and then McMahon shows up with a briefcase and you're the blue blazer. And then walk around with your head held high because we all go, you're a sellout girl baby, maybe. I don't know, but you're a girl baby.
What I will
# girl baby.
What I will say though for Adam Cole. In-ring ability, if he could go and train her with his ability in ring, she would become a whole lot better wrestler.
Remember when Adam Cole had a lump on his head for like a year? No one remembers that except me. Anyway, I want to talk about the Hardy family office real quick before we go. And I think that I go like this. I like heel factions. This thing could have been a really cool Ted DiBiase thing, $1 million corporation.
Yep.
But I think I see the truth in this thing. I think this was just to give a little spot here and give something for Hardy to do, because I believe that the live crowd, and this is my own prediction, but I believe that the live crowd is going to draw broken Matt Hardy back out of Money Matt.
I hope so.
And I remember when we filmed a promo with Matt for PVGA. And in the course of that, we got word that he won't be Broken Matt anymore. So we'd have to get in a lot of promos because that he was changing that.
Yeah.
And Then he went on and said, it doesn't work without the crowd there and this and that. But I believe he had his most fun he's ever had with that character. We have not gotten to have fun with that character yet in AEW. I think there's some time there, but I do believe at the right moment, the crowd there's going to be a moment where he's going to have to turn face or something and delete people. I don't know. I just don't know, but I just feel that the Hardy family office feels temporary, and that broken Matt's just right under waiting. Where that leaves his whole crew, I don't know. I don't know.
If I'm being honest with you, I don't really see where the Hardy family office has done anything for any of the wrestlers involved.
They constantly, and there's enough jobbers. There's enough jobbers in AEW that if we wanted to we can that's the other problem. Once jobbers were eliminated from Vince McMahon, you can't build heels because your heels, to build a heel, you have to crush a face. Now you can bring in local jobbers and have heels crush them and make your heels look good. You got to be able to build
Private Party. Whenever they first came, whenever
they were so over in Pittsburgh, dude.
They should have just kept them going, man. Well, they were so much fun to watch.
I know, but I think that sometimes when things are right, that's when you do make a heel turn for a team. But it would have been nice to do it in front of a crowd and everyone.
But I don't think for them a heel turn was ready to be done. And I don't know. I think Private Party could still be, and I'm not saying that they're not going to be, but I think that they could have been coming out of the pandemic, keeping the persona that they had, going back into the live shows, going back into the touring. They could have been a very fun tag team to kind of just bring everything out and bring people's hey, we get to party again. That's what our whole gimmick is. Where we get to go to the club and we're whatever. And I think that that would have been a really cool thing for them to do.
Well, that's why it works into this. That works into what I'm saying, because we can do that now. We can't hindsight and say they should have what anybody should have did pre-pandemic. Because fuck, no one knew what was going on.
No,
in 48 hours the world shut down. So but what you're saying there can work in this arc now that everyone's back, because I was in the building in Pittsburgh when they wrestled the Bucks, and that place was on fire.
I can imagine.
The Private Party. SCU too, man. That place was nuts. There was this big dude just yelling SCU, said would all say it. It was good. It was good. But,
I'm going to make this statement now. In 2022.
Make it.
2022. My New Year's resolution is to go to a live wrestling show because I've never been to one. Never been to one.
Really?
I had the last time. I shouldn't say I've never been to one. I went to an independent show whenever I was 11 years old at the JFK Gymnasium. Not the same thing as going to a big production.
That's all that depends on who you go with. I can have fun, and I have just as much fun as at IWC that I did at WWE and I do at AEW. I'm a loud nut and I'm in it.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but I want to go there experience that, because I've never got to really experience with other people who are into the same thing that I'm into.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's my New Year's resolution, is that I want to go to one of these events.
Well, it's only June, so you don't worry. You have a long time to cash in on that.
Yeah, I know.
You have a long time.
You never know.
All right, folks. I had fun. Matt had fun, I think. I don't know.
I did.
Did you have fun, Matt?
I did. I just want to give a shout out to the Pastry Kings OG, because he did send me this sweet hat, and he sent me this sweet uppercuts shirt. I appreciate that, sir. Thank you. And I'm sure that we will have some sort of little news thing going on at some point for Mr. Kings.
For nothing.
These
jackals always want to know something. You know how they're going to know what's coming up next? They can go to patreon.com/E-Nertia Global.
And then donate $50.
No, listen, when you join the first tier, you get access to the calendar. So I don't have to hear what's next, what's coming up anymore. You get to see the next 2 months of what we're putting out. If for only $1 a month, that's $12 a year. You can be nosy and get all the inside scoop, because you know what? I'm not on Facebook now.
Yeah.
And it's killing. It's killing.
It is.
And it wasn't where I'm at. Don't worry about it. Listen, I'm under the radar now, bro. Off. I'm like John Connor in Terminator. I'm off the grid, bro. Off the grid.
Well, I'm still on Facebook, but I'm not giving out any information there.
Well, I mean, why? Why would they? Why would they?
It's not that hard to find me anyway.
Is it? Where you at? I don't even know if they want to find more information on Matthew Mounts. They don't.
Maybe you don't. I don't know.
Maybe they don't. I don't know. There's nowhere to go.
There's nowhere to go.
There's nowhere to go to find him, anything more out about you.
I mean, there could be a Facebook page called Wrestlemarks that you could go to, and you could check out some information there, and you could see videos from us, and you could talk to me, or maybe you could talk to Jason sometimes.
No, I will not be there on that page, but you will definitely, they can definitely tell you. They can definitely get on and tell you anything they want, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Go there, folks, and tell him things. Yeah. Tell him things.
You can, hey, just make sure that you don't like the page.
Oh, gross. I like it,
anything on that page. That's just gross if you do that anyway.
Go to that page and block it immediately to be the best for everybody. All right, folks.
That's what I did.
You know what? We'll see. You know what? We gave you this one. This is number 5. We'll see if we're going to give you 6. We'll see how we feel. You understand? Back with more news at some other time. Right now, they're like, when they gonna end it? I don't know.
When are they gonna say game on again?
We don't say. We didn't even say.
We don't
game
say
on
that anymore.
Time.
No, we don't say it.
We just last time we just went bye. That's how we should do it. Yeah, that's it.
Bye.
Bye.